to piggyback a little bit on my friend and colleague's story, Robert Suttle. I was convicted for failing to disclose my HIV status under Iowa's law, which was, I consider, inaccurately titled Criminal Transmission of HIV. The local headline in the newspaper read, "Plainfield man arrested for transmitting HIV." But I did not transmit HIV. HIV transmission, in fact, is only occasionally a factor in HIV criminalization cases in the U.S. Not only did I not transmit HIV, but I had an undetectable viral load, and I also used a condom. It was extremely difficult to find legal counsel. Lambda Legal Defense, which is a national gay legal organization, gave me a list of approximately 6 attorneys to contact, but none of those attorneys were able to assist me. They said they did not know enough about that law. They were not expert enough to handle my case. Finally, my family retained a former local prosecutor on my behalf, and quite frankly, he fleeced me and my family for all that we could afford, and then he advised me to take a guilty plea. Absurd assertions made by the prosecutor and my accuser, assertions that were easily disproven by science, were never challenged. The judge never heard directly from me until the sentencing. He imposed the maximum sentence of 25 years in prison. The judge said, quote, "One thing that makes this case difficult is that you don't look dangerous. You don't look like most of our criminals that sit here. But the risk is still there, just like if you would have shot a gun." After initially arrested, I often had difficulty getting my medications. Each time I transferred facilities, I would go up to 3 or 4 days occasionally without any medications. For 9 months, not once did I ever go outside. I was in the jail setting for 9 months awaiting a trial or sentencing or whatnot. I did not go outside once except to go to a medical appointment where I sat in a public waiting room in an orange jumpsuit, cuffs, and shackles, getting stares, as I'm sure you can imagine. I remained in maximum security lockup in jail. I was in solitary confinement for the first 6 weeks I was in the jail setting. I was only let out of my cell for 1 hour per day to shower, and that was use the telephone. I could not even see out a window. I was fed and given medications through a slot in my cell door. During my entire 9 months in jail, I never saw a clock. I had no idea what time of day it was. I was allowed 1 20-minute visit per week, and if my family missed that 20-minute visit on that day, there was no more. I had to wait another week, so that was difficult if my family had to work. But I was luckier than so many others because my case attracted the attention of advocates in the U.S. and Europe who wrote letters to the judge asking him to reconsider my sentence. After 13 months of total incarceration, he altered my sentence. He released me from prison, but I was subject to lifetime sex offender registration in Iowa. And if I can backtrack just a moment, I should also say, as I was sentenced to 25 years, there were worse sentencing in Iowa than mine. I believe there was one individual who was sentenced for 4 counts, and so ultimately he was sentenced to 100 years, but the judge allowed this person to serve two of them concurrently, so ultimately he was sentenced to 15 years.
50.
50 years for 4 counts. But back to where I was before, forgive me, had it not been for the help of those advocates who educated the judge and created community pressure, it's entirely conceivable that I might still be in prison today. I strongly feel we need law enforcement and the judicial system to be educated about the real roots and risks of HIV transmission, and until these statutes are removed, we need to provide competent assistance to people who are charged. We need to support community advocacy and education about HIV criminalization. I am living proof that it can be incredibly impacting. And I thank you for your time and your attention.